Welcome to Big Blend Radio's Vacation Station Travel and Leisure Show. Welcome to Big Blend Radio's Vacation Station Travel Show, where we get to chat with Cheryl Ogle every third Wednesday. She is a travel advisor. She's a world traveler, and she's a friend, and she rocks. You can go to heywannago.com, and that is the website to check her out. And if you go on Facebook, go to Hey Wanna Go Travel, put that in there. And she's on Instagram, and she's always posting cool places to visit and explore. But, July and August, these are known as the family reunion months. And I'm going to say the 2 months because no matter what website you look on that covers all these kinds of holidays in the world, they argue. So we're just going to celebrate family reunion summer because why not? And it may be too late to do it. I don't think it ever is. But, if you're pulling family from around the world or across the country together, you're talking about multiple generations, probably, and multiple likes and interests. So today, Cheryl is going to talk to us about what we can do to plan, what are some good ideas so that there's something for everyone, because, we all want to please everyone. And, that's a healthy thing to do. Right, Cheryl? Welcome back.
It's always good to be with you, Lisa.
Hey. So, Cheryl, these multi-generational, reunions, and I think we're really at that generational mark, but we have something in common in our age groups is that I think everyone wants something unique and memorable when they travel.
Yes, absolutely. And, this is the time of year kids are out of school. And so families are having those family reunions. And sometimes it means, 5 generations, or you've got grandma and grandpa and their brothers and sisters and, second cousins and all of that. It can be huge, or it may just be a smaller family group and mom and dad and their kids and bringing grandma and grandpa. But it's a time to come together and just relax, experience something new, and enjoy each other, learn more about each other.
Oh, learn more. You've got a great blog on this, and everyone, it's linked in the episode notes. And if you go to heywannago.com, you can just click on the blog link and you'll see it. You talked about these cards to have for like a conversation kit of cards for folks to get together. I mean, that's the thing. You may have cousins that you've never met, but you get all shy depending on your age too, right? Remember those shy days of our lives? I don't know if I ever was. Yeah,
I still am.
I am. I'm shy. That's why. Yeah, it's like, oh, we have to do Zoom videos now. What? No, but yeah, these cards can help unify people. You want to tell us about them? Yeah.
You know what I actually saw this when I was at a girls reunion weekend with some friends recently. And these cards go through, they're a lot more that, we all know the games that are out there. I don't even need to get into them that, are really funny and everything. These let you get to know someone. So things like, a significant job you held, something you learned from it, something you shared, or a gift you've given someone else that maybe changed their life, or vice versa. So it's a way to get to know different people, reflect a little bit. It can be serious, it can be funny, but it's impactful. I feel like when you're talking about your friends and how you try to be a friend to someone, or a job, or your faith. So many different things about learning a life story from others.
That's cool. And I think especially, a lot of us are on the family history genealogy kick, right? And about when you get these family reunions, it is a time to get that recorder out or use your phone to document, your family history. So you can go look it up on your computer later, not during the reunion. Bond and connect during the reunion and start to learn more about your history. Ask grandma, she wants to tell you what has happened in her life. Just start asking those questions, because down the road, you're going to want to know,
Right. And those stories, if they're not recorded, they will be lost.
No, it's true.
They'll be lost forever. Take advantage of it now. I mean, what I would give to have another conversation with any of my grandparents. I mean, it's gone in an instant.
Mm-hmm.
And, you don't realize it at the time. You're busy with kids, you're changing diapers, you don't want to call grandma. She may have dementia and ask you the same thing 10 times, but call grandma.
Mm-hmm.
Do it. Ask for that recipe for the peach crisp that she always brought and you never could get quite right. Make the time, because these things will be lost.
Mm. So when it comes to travel, I mean, this is, what happens with the budgeting of something like a family reunion? Because we just did a episode with Natchitoches Convention and Visitor Bureau in Louisiana, and they just had a family reunion come to town. It's a small city. There's no skyscrapers, right? 500 people came to town for this family reunion. And I'm like,
Wow.
who's footing the bill for this? And what happens if some members of the family can't actually afford to do that, and some may have the money bags? You know what I mean? So like, I was like, wow, I wonder how this is all working. Are they renting vacation? And she said everything: hotels, bed and breakfast, vacation rentals. They took up the town rooms. I'm sure they still have more
Wow.
rooms because they have like a mini hotel circle there. But um, if you can get vacation rentals or something like that too, that is often nice. But how does the financing normally work for these kinds of things?
It can vary. I know my sister's in-laws, they have a big family reunion every June, and it's every single summer. Every June they do this, which I've never been to a family reunion except for my brother-in-law's family. They take me in. But they book a block of rooms at a local Marriott, and the Marriott does give them a meeting room. And so they have that where they can have coffee and juice and bring in pastries. And so the room itself was provided because they booked 10 plus rooms. And they said, you may have use of this room for a certain number of hours on a Saturday. So that made a big difference, because either way, these people are coming to town needing to book a hotel room. So they just asked, please stay at this one central hotel, and then we get the meeting room as a result. And so that helped. And then when they went out, they had another meal at a restaurant in the afternoon, and everyone had separate checks, and that was prearranged with the restaurant and approved that way.
Okay.
So it doesn't, their particular one did not cost much, really. I mean, you had your hotel expenses, and then a local cousin hosted an evening get together at her pool and did s'mores and things like that. And so that was no cost, at all on that. But it was a time for them to get together. And I know a lot of them just because I've been around them. They've been married nearly 40 years. So I feel like they're kind of my distant family as well. And so I know them, and they included me in a couple of the things as well. And it was fun, but it doesn't have to cost a lot. And so when you're coming to the concept and you have a budget, pick something local. You don't have to go get on a cruise ship. You don't have to go to Disney World and spend thousands of dollars to get together and make memories. You really could sit in the meeting room, or someone local who has a large yard. People can bring camping chairs. It's just about being together, and that does not have to cost anything.
And sometimes family meetings are not 500 people, right? So, and what was interesting that they are descendant from this region, right? And so they have like a genealogy library there and everything. So it's kind of cool for them to walk in ancestral footsteps too, when you can go back into a family region. But also doing things like a cruise, because if you're blocking out as a group, that's where prices go down a little bit, right? So, and I think sometimes family does help each other out to make it, if someone needs a little push and help, then you raise each other up, to have that unity, right? So I think, and if it's a goal, for families to know that they can say, okay, we're doing this every year, put money aside, just put money aside. Right. If, know that, and even the kids can get involved and, do something with their pocket money if they want to do something special, So it's
exactly. Exactly. Plan for it, just like you would plan for anything else. Budget for that and put aside $50 a month, or whatever it's going to take to get there. Just make an effort to get there. If for some reason, you can't afford the Marriott and you're staying at the Super 8 next door, that's okay. Do the best you
Mm-hmm.
can for your family. Don't go into debt or over something like this. But just do what you can to get there and feed on the wisdom of the people in your family.
Mm-hmm. This is cool. And then, so there are some things that you can do, like you do talk about cruise ships, because some of them, like, I don't know if you're going to all go on a Viking, like, but, or one of those small barge cruises through Burgundy. But you may all get on like a big kind of like the Bahamas ones,
Mm-hmm.
something that's kind of, a lot of cruise ships are that multi-generational cruise ship that there is something for everyone.
Exactly. I feel like most of the big name cruise lines have something for all ages. And so when you can go and, your kids can play in a child safe pool, maybe grandma and grandpa don't want to sit there at the loud pool all day. They're down in the adults only part, and you meet up at lunch, or you say, okay, every night at dinner, we're having dinner together at 6 p.m. And then we're doing the show at 8, whoever wants to do the show. You can have your space. You don't have to be together all the time. You can, customize it for whatever works for your family. But
Mm-hmm.
cruise ships really do offer, I think there's such a great value because, your meals are included. You're not being nickel and dime to get, as you go. And, oh gosh, we got to feed these kids again. And, it's expensive to buy food when you're traveling. And especially as we had 6 in our family. And when we traveled, it added up, because every kid wants to eat every meal. So what can you do? So
Yeah.
when you're on that cruise ship, you have as much ice cream as you want. Go get yourself another hamburger, more mashed potatoes, whatever you want. It's all included. And so that can be a really good value. And when cabins hold, most of them will hold 4 people or up to 4 people. If you've got kids who can climb up into a bunk bed, that it's a great way for a family to cram into a room and get the best bang for your buck.
Do you do a lot of that kind of work as a travel advisor, helping, like a big family get together, especially if they're doing something epic? And before we've talked a little bit about this before, like sometimes, a family will have a reunion, but the core part is like a few days. And if it's a destination or part of a cruise experience, some of the others will say, hey, I'm adding on to this and I'm going to go hang out and do this. So it could be the family are all coming in for a few days, but the rest are like going to keep cruising.
Right. I mean, anything is possible, and everything can be customized. So that's the
That's
neat thing about travel is you don't have to say, okay, everyone has to do this 7-day cruise, or we're doing 3 days back to back. Find what works for you and your budget. And I can't stress the budget enough because we all have a certain place where we come and we assign our dollars.
mm,
And don't avoid debt. Don't go into debt needlessly. Save that for when you really have an emergency.
yeah,
Be
exactly.
smart about how you spend your money. I'm not in this to sell and talk you up to something that you're uncomfortable with, but plan for these things and do what you can to make these experiences happen for your family, for your kids,
Mm,
to grow up and know their grandparents, their great grandparents, their great aunts and uncles and their cousins and all of that. That is so rare in this life. We get busy and you forget about it.
that's true. And then, to me too, I mean, there's so many different things you can do on an economical way, but sometimes, the grandparents are like saved for this kind of thing. Sometimes it's not having to be a reunion every year. It could be every 5 years we're having a big blowout, we're going to go somewhere
Right.
cool as a family. So sometimes in families, somebody has that discretionary income that they can do that and help with. And it's often the grandparents, I think, that are able to help with that. The families are busy, paying off house mortgages, putting kids through college, all of that, the expensive
Hmm.
kids, which we all know it has an expense.
Right.
you know.
Well, yeah,
So
it is. And so, and I've come across it where grandma and grandpa are paying for everything and they're very generous, but they just want to see it happen. And if it means that they pay for it, they'll do it. And I love that.
yeah.
In fact, I've got 2 groups who are heading to Ireland in a month and they're going there for a family reunion. I thought, well, our family reunions have to kick it up a notch a bit, but they're in one booking. The grandparents are paying for everything and for their adult children, which I think is lovely if you can.
Yeah, I agree. I agree if you can. And travel really bonds people, and you get into different circumstances and different places. So there's something to bond with. And maybe there's an obstacle on the road, that happens as you travel. And it's a way to grow together, maybe go, oh, we had this planned. Oh, the weather ruined this excursion, so we're going to go do that excursion that none of us really thought would be interesting. But once you get there and you do it together, you find out you really like something. So it's a way for families to discover new things, I think.
Absolutely. And and things that will stick with you may surprise you. I mean, I still remember in my own family, as an adult with our four daughters, the last trip we took with all four girls. And because again, it's over in an instant. But for whatever reason, the Beatles song "Hello Goodbye" kept coming on the radio. And this is back in the day, when you actually had radio. And it just kind of became our little anthem. We'd start the car and turn on the radio, and you've got the Beatles singing. And so it became a joke every time we got in. We all started singing the Beatles, and that's a sweet memory to me. I mean, we had just gone to the coast in California. We hadn't done anything special or big, but we all remember that. And you make those memories. So we can sit down together. I can mention it to my daughters and sing, and we all just start laughing. So you have those inside jokes that are just the core, your core family, which is your safety net. And those times together make those memories special. They make the memories.
Yeah, I agree. It's yeah, you've got to have those memories because it's what, when people pass, right? It's those
Mm-hmm.
memories you want to remember, you want to hold dear, those funds, the times you laughed, the times, maybe you fell down while you were hiking and got, mud on your butt, whatever it is.
Right. Mm-hmm.
It teaches you to laugh and not to sweat the small stuff either about going on trips like this.
Exactly.
Also,
Exactly.
holding each other's hands. So maybe you go on a hike together and it's supposed to be easy, but what is easy for whoever wrote the hike description is not maybe easy on one of your family members, right? And it's about
Mm-hmm.
everyone working together over that and not putting each other down, but working through it, you know. And I think that's the thing about travel is that you're seeing something new. You discover things you didn't know you were interested in. You can share in it, but also help each other through things that, you're going through. And there's also times where you get the giggles in places you shouldn't. That happens a lot to us.
Yes, that happens. I think in every family, and that's fun. I mean, yeah, you got to rein it in during funerals and things, but
Yep.
the giggles are
Well,
good.
no, Nancy and I are known for that, and funerals are the worst. And I know that everyone's like, "Oh, that's a form of hysteria." Yeah, you're. I don't know. It is what it is. We went to my mom's best friend's funeral, and she said, "Well, if he says this, if the preacher says this, I'm going to flick the lights because I told him not to say it." Well, he did it, and the lights flickered, and Nancy and I got the giggles so bad we had to leave. We had to leave.
I can see that.
Well, but that's the thing. You just have those experiences, go figure out what you can all afford. But I really do appreciate what you're talking about in regards to the cruises. But you also say in your blog, go to a US destination like national parks and things like that. I have to bring that up.
Of course.
But and camping, see, that's really cool. And a lot of destinations have resorts that are family friendly or like these lodges too. Like you could
Mm-hmm.
be a family camping with your kids and grandparents are staying in the historic lodge at the national park, which is
Right.
an amazing experience.
Right.
Both are.
There are options. It doesn't have to get expensive. I mean, you can tent camp. You can rent a camper or you can stay in the lodge. But go out and explore your own backyard. We live in a phenomenal country with so much to see and do. And get out of your house. Turn off your news, especially
Oh my
this
gosh,
year.
are you
Turn
kidding me?
off
My
your
God.
news.
Yeah,
Get
be
out.
aware, but
Get
still
out of
stay
the
aware.
house.
But well, actually, no, but that's really a good point. I mean, you need to be aware of what's going on in the world. But um, don't
but
over,
not
don't,
24/7. You don't.
no, that's not
Yeah.
healthy, right? That's not
No.
healthy. It just isn't
No.
healthy. But you will find when you do this kind of thing, when you go off and you travel with your family, you'll find similarities, and try not to have the big family war over politics. It really don't. It's not worth it. Try and find where your common bonds are. And that's with friends too. Instead of
Hmm.
focusing on um, the argument or what we don't get along with, it's important to focus on what you do get along with. And that's again where travel comes in. It's like,
Yes.
oh, wow, we found this waterfall around the corner we didn't know. And oh my gosh, and I don't know. It's just focus on what your common bonds are and try to grow from there. And I think family reunions are part of that. It's just, make a family movie too. That's the thing for kids to get involved. Like, they're all attached to phones and stuff. And it gets to a point of, I feel like families need to have a game where it gets away from the phone consistently. So
Hmm.
use the phones for something good. Use all the apps to identify plant species or bugs, whatever, if you're camping. But do something where it's kind of a family game, which creates unity. It's like those cards you're talking about. Maybe you're all going to put on a play at the end or something. I don't know, but do something like that, wouldn't you say, to kind of bolster that unit? I think people need to go to a
Yes.
unity sessions now. I'm into that. Like we need to figure out unity instead of division. And it starts with family. It does, because families fight over
Absolutely.
stuff that we don't need, just like you're saying, to turn off the news and focus like on your trip. It's far more fun. It really is.
Yeah. Well,
Because
and even,
yeah.
kids want their phones for a lot of different things, but create a photo scavenger hunt. Put everyone's phone's on airplane mode. And so you're not getting notifications and things like that. Use it as a camera or go get a camera. But come up with a scavenger hunt of who can find this and that. And so you're working together in teams. Use your phone as a tool, where you're not just staring at it also. But,
Mm. I
take,
like the
take these
scavenger hunt.
pictures.
That's cool.
Well, I think there's a lot you can do. Phones don't have to be inherently bad, but yeah,
No.
turn it on airplane mode and cut the notifications. I had an Apple Watch for like 20 minutes and I hated it because I was connected. I couldn't even go to the bathroom for 2 minutes without my phone pinging, and thought
And saying to
this
you,
is not what
Cheryl,
I
you've been
want.
in there for 2 minutes. Get out. It's time.
Right? And so I thought, I want a break from being connected. I don't
Mm.
want to be reached every minute of my day. And sometimes you just need to go into do not disturb mode or something and just breathe. It's not healthy when we're so hyper focused on the pings from news, text, anything like that. We need a break from our routines.
Well, I think what's
And
cool
I think
about
that's what travel does for us.
the cruise ships, going back to them, and even the parks, right? National parks always have ranger programs, and yeah, go see, go look at the stars together. And it's a cool time to bond where parents and elders can, they've got knowledge of this, but the kids are finding the Big Dipper for the first time, or the Milky Way, right? It's so cool to kind of all be in a where somebody else is doing the education, gives parents a break. And you're not being the parent that's like, now this is what you need to learn today. Nobody needs that. But they can all be in awe over something together, right? And discover things and ask the kids, what did you learn? We want to know, so I think there's those opportunities. But like even the cruise ships, you have all these excursions, but they also have activities on board the ship beyond swimming in the pool, right? There are
Yes.
activities and there's lessons and even, crafting and stuff like that. I mean, that isn't that a way too for families to do something fun together?
Absolutely. I mean, do something different from your norm. Most people, you work, your kids are in school, your kids are in sports, maybe you go to church on Sundays or Wednesdays, and that's what you do over, rinse and repeat over and over and over. Do something different.
Mm.
Mix it up a little bit. And again, pay attention to your budget. And if your budget can't support travel, I get it. Been there, done that, and but find something. Is there a neighboring town with a cool ice cream parlor that you can surprise your your family, go meet grandma and grandpa, in a town halfway and spend a day getting ice cream and hanging out at a park. Think outside the box. How can you make some kind of a family reunion, whether it's 5 people or 500?
Mm-hmm.
How can you make that happen? And just cherish each other.
Yeah, and even like you're saying, if it's something simple and budget friendly, if you're everybody bring food, or kind of like maybe it's a family reunion at somebody's house and things like that in the same, it's town. It could be your hometown, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone brings food or does something and get the kids involved. Let them make something, even if it's the
Yes.
decorations, have you, those extra things. It sounds like, oh, why do we have to say, whatever family name reunion, blah, 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 make like a sign? Because it makes it real. It solidifies. Doing those extra steps go
Mm-hmm.
so far, and having the kids do it, I think, is important. Have the kids be part of the
Exactly.
process. Don't leave them out of the planning or the doing. Maybe
Right.
kids, they know how to do some kind of snack, whatever. I mean, come on, didn't you like baking with grandma? You know?
Absolutely. And those things, and when kids get to have a say, they're going to be more interested instead of being told, hey, on Thursday we leave for family reunion. And all they're thinking is, oh my gosh, it's a room full of old people. Get them involved, get them to come up with a plan to get to know the others.
I'm glad we're talking about this in July. You know why? Because Christmas in July, because a lot of times the family reunions happen around that time frame, Thanksgiving through Christmas, and even into the new year. And sometimes they, depending on people's work schedules, it's even off, like it's not on Thanksgiving. It might be the weekend after, or whatever families have to do. But that time of year gets busy for the actual reunions, depending on people's work schedules. So you have time to do it, to plan it, 6 months away. It's almost Christmas, really. Are you ready,
Yeah.
Cheryl?
No.
Are you ready for Christmas?
Not yet. I got plane tickets to buy. So.
Oh, okay. See, there it is. There it is. I love it.
Well,
don't you have a cruise or something that you're doing? You always have something you're going away.
Earlier in the month, I do have a Christmas Market River cruise, and we've got, I think, 16 in my little group, and then some others from a couple of other colleagues who we've banded together to make a group. And so we are cruising round trip from Cologne, and we're going to go see German Christmas market. So that's early December to get us in the mood for Christmas. So we still have a couple of cabins available. If anyone is interested, reach out. But some of us are going to Bruges first, Belgium, and then we're going to finish in my favorite city, London. So
of course, yes, to go to London.
Well, London also has a lot to offer at the holidays, and I just think it's magical. They do Christmas up right as well. So I think about 10 of us are finishing in London for several days. So it's going to be a fun
Stewart
time.
Going to be there?
He is, to the best of my knowledge, he is not. But I'll always check the schedule for concert dates as it gets closer.
That's funny.
No.
That's funny. Well, Cheryl, always fun having you on the show. We can't wait for next month. And everyone, again, go to heywannago.com and also follow Cheryl on social media. I've got the links for her website and also her blog post in the episode notes. She's here every third Wednesday, and it's always fun, always insightful. And it is always about making memories, happy memories, even if you're traveling solo or doing a family reunion, even if it's 500 or even 1,000. Oh my gosh, how big is your family? And then, that's, yeah. If you have 500 people, you better call Cheryl. Like, seriously.
Or not. No, I'm just kidding.
I know. She's like, I don't want 500 people talking.
No.
No, at that point, when that happens, then you need to deal with one person. I know that, just even in the work we do, it's like we do a lot of work with organizations. I'm always like, I want one person to deal with, not 10 people changing their minds on me all day long. Can't do it. So you need one person.
I can't deal with 500, but I can deal with one, and we can certainly do what's necessary to get a family reunion together.
Absolutely. That's cool. Very cool. Well, take care and happy travels, Cheryl.
Thank you.
Oh, by the way, what cake is going with that ice cream. I'm not letting you go without cake and ice cream. You mentioned ice cream. What cake? What's the?
Oh, what cake? Cake should almost always be white cake with white frosting. I'm a vanilla girl now.
Every family reunion needs cake and ice cream, as far as I'm concerned.
White. There you go. See? Vanilla cake, vanilla frosting.
Oh, yeah, and some ice cream with it. I want ice cream. I do. It's ice cream month. So just saying. All right. I had to bring that in. I'm not letting tradition go on the wayside. That's what family reunions are about. Traditions, ice cream, and cake must be part of it. All right. Thanks, Cheryl.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Big Blend Radio's Vacation Station Travel and Leisure Show, brought to you by Big Blend Magazines. Keep up with us at bigblendradio.com or blendradioandtv.com. Happy travels!